Okay, all right, let's call this,
Meeting's order.
all right, sounds good. So, let's see, we don't have any minutes to review, do we?
No.
Okay. And do we have any public speak for anything that's not on our agenda tonight? I don't think so. You guys, I imagine, are here for the arts coordinator position at grade 9 and the council on aging outreach worker assistant position, receptionist and activity coordinator. Okay, so that's what we have to do. Is we have looking at these pay plans. And you guys want to say anything about it yet, or wait?
I'm Linda Talbot, the executive director.
Okay.
This is Lafera Ennis-Jens, outreach worker, not this position. We had approached this year for $33,000. We were approved $20,100 to help fund an outreach worker assistant position, which has been in existence for approximately 7 years through grant funding. It is now hopefully going to go through as an 18-hour position, grade 3 salary at $14.05 an hour. The receptionist position had been at I put a sign on the door saying don't lock it, but that's just so people won't lock it for you guys.
Okay.
So when you leave,
lock it.
Lock it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
We'll leave it open, Barbara.
The Council on Aging receptionist position had been funded through a Back to Work Senior Aids program. The last person who was in that position was notified in April that she was no longer going to be funded.
Okay.
Our Friends group supplemented until July 1st, and it's now a temporary position through the city at a grade 1, $12.14 an hour. Both positions were 20-hour positions. And they were put forth as an 18-hour position for each one because they did not want to pay benefits.
Okay.
The activities coordinator is a grant-funded position. It is not funded through the city, and they want to assign her a grade 3, but I'm not sure at what step because her current salary through the grant is $14.50 an hour. So I really don't want her.
Did you say $14.50?
$14.50. So I really, if she started at the beginning, she would be losing money, and I don't really think that would be fair.
Right. So that's activity coordinator.
So the outreach position is funded through the city now as it's vacant right now.
Okay.
The person who occupied that position retired as of June 21st. And it gets a little complicated. The temporary receptionist has been hired as the outreach worker.
Okay.
So we can't post the receptionist position until it's approved through city council because we don't want to pay to post it,
Pays it twice. Yeah.
So the outreach worker is 18 hours full through the city, and the receptionist will be, it gets confusing, 11 hours through the city and 7 hours through the grant.
Okay. So.
Jesus. So.
Hours city, 7 through grant.
So which position was that again?
The receptionist.
The receptionist. And you said the activity coordinator is fully grant funded.
She's fully grant funded.
Fully grant funded, but we just need to have
They want to assign her
the paid category so they can.
Right, and she's a 24-hour a week employee through grant funding, 100% grant funding.
Okay.
Guaranteed grant funding every year. We got the $8 elder grant.
And you also said,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, that you had requested somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 from the mayor.
33.
But you got somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, which will cover the outreach workers 18 hours and the 11 hours of the receptionist.
Right. And there probably is going to be a little left over because the position's vacant.
Okay. So we're talking about something that's already been funded.
Yes.
That kind of already has someone there, but we need this to be in place before you can actually post for it. Okay. Do you guys have any questions?
No, the only thing I'm gonna say here, because I'm gonna vote no on all of this evening. I just want to be right up front for the simple reason This town is in no position in my estimation, and I've been around a long time, to hire anybody new or create new positions. You take a private industry where my daughter works, you doing extra work every day. They're working Saturdays and Sundays and she's on salary. She has no time to herself. The thing of it is the municipal government hasn't been under the pressure yet. I think that somehow, with all the employees in town, that we can find ways of other people helping you out. And the thing of it is, all it takes is good leadership. And I don't know, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the way I feel. And the other thing of it is, I look at our disgraceful roads in this town. I lived in this town all my life, and at one time I used to be proud of how the DPW took care of the roads. Because we always put extra money in the budget every year. We don't do that. We haven't done that for 12 or 14 years when there was money available. So one of the things is, this evening, that's why I'm going against all of this. I know it'll carry, but that's the way it's going to be.
Okay, so
I mean, use the bully pulpit.
yeah, absolutely.
I would also like you to note that we have 85 volunteers that provide the city with over $155,000 worth of free service. Just letting you know.
Okay, and maybe can you give the committee a little insight on what the outreach worker does? Because maybe that would be helpful to put some relevance to it.
And you also have 22% of your population is 60 and over.
Okay.
Look, I'm 75 years old, right? I got a lot of buddies that are 75. We don't need it yet.
No, not
Okay?
yet.
And the thing of it is, right now, the way the population is changing, your statistics, you can always use that as statistics. I can't argue because I'm that age, but the thing of it is, you're not supporting the whole 22%. Thank you.
Okay.
Was that a written description?
This is the written description. And I'll share it with you guys.
Or even just a couple of highlights, because I'm not familiar with what the outreach worker actually does.
Okay, so let me see. To paraphrase, there's so much.
There is. Yes, there is.
Let's see. The home visits
Yes.
to homebound Easthampton seniors, caregivers, and family members. Let's see. They meet with individuals, groups, and families at their work site in Richmond Center or at Easthampton residence. Topics can include, but are not limited to, caregiving, support groups, respite and general information, health information, Medicare, Mass Health, Medigap, HMO for retirees, veterans, prescription drug, etc., home care, personal care, homemaking, companion nursing, physical therapy, financial assistance programs, food and nutrition programs, local workshops, seminars, training sessions, support groups, transportation services, housing options, home safety and management, emergency response, well, I guess that's in there, recreation, health and fitness programs, end-of-life matters. So all sorts of different things that...
What Flippy does is she goes out into a person's home and assesses their needs. Anytime she will provide information or application assistance with financial benefit programs that will help people be maintained in their home, who also pay taxes. They could be food assistance, it could be fuel assistance,
health insurance,
there's a lot of programs out there.
So helping them navigate.
Helping you navigate the
The-
system.
Yes, and
Right.
it's very
And
confusing.
Sometimes it's limited with phones being difficult for people to navigate, that it's me just to get them, we want to keep them as independent as possible,
Right.
to just get them to the resource that they need to do. So I don't do everything for people, let them do as much as they can on their own, and then just kind of
Just
help.
navigating the
Yeah.
the various systems.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Actually, I'm sorry, can I get your name for the record?
Glafira Anishyan, it's spelled G-L-A, F like in funny, Y-R-A. My last name is hyphenated.
Said that too.
Oh, thank you.
I got it.
programs that the council on.
Okay.
I would like to also say that we also go above and beyond, and many times we'll work a lot more
More than 18 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm a
She's
full-time, but it'd be
Okay.
more than,
That part of it.
And many of us cross-train into,
Yeah.
like right now, we're both covering
Right.
that vacant position. And doing reception work in the afternoon when there's nobody there, so it's a lean department.
Okay. Well,
With a growing, very rapidly growing population.
yes.
And there's about 232 that are 90 and over.
232
Yeah.
that are 90 and
90
over.
and over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
My mother's 95, she hasn't been here yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's still living by herself.
that's good. She must have a son helping her out.
Caregiver.
All right. I mean, Nathan, you have any other thoughts, questions?
No, I mean, again, obviously working in the public sector, I understand a lot of what
Sure.
the responsibilities, outreach involved, especially working with a lot of outside agencies myself. So I'm definitely more interested in hearing some of the numbers. Actually, I put in the 232.90 and over, but I'm sorry, what was there was a statistic a second ago about 22%, 60,
60 plus, you've seen.
60 plus.
Which is above average.
220?
It's like 200, I'd have to get this, well, our oldest resident recently passed
Yeah.
away.
And how old is
Was she 103?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
no, I think she was 102. The one that died before that was 100.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
But
That's what I'm shooting for.
Be happy if I make it into that 90 plus guy.
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, for me, this is, it's already funded. It's not adding anything new. It's just keeping what we have going. So it's, I'm in
it's
favor of
shifting
this.
it from grant funding to city funding, so, except the activity.
Yep. I have no problem with that. Sounds like it's needed.
So overall, about how much is still grant funded, or how, if you have a general dollar amount of grant funding?
Well, here I can tell you.
7 times.
7 hours at $12.14 an hour for 54 weeks for a year.
Okay, well, I was just wondering, ratio-wise, if the city's chipping in 20,000, or what proportion is grant funded? But I can do the math.
12, 14 times, 18 times.
Again, it's just out of more curiosity.
And it sounds like the third one is a guaranteed grant.
Yeah, we get a grant through the Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Right. And that's something that
It's a guaranteed grant every year that's based on the population of the federal census.
Okay.
And this year went from $7 per elder up to $8 per elder, so it's approximately $28,000. And we try to use the grant to maximize as much staff as we can.
Great.
So,
And that will be towards the activity coordinator.
activity.
Alright,
So let's move this.
Second one.
Okay.
Did you want to talk about the planner, or did you?
We'll do this one
No, no.
separate.
Do it separate?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll just do
all
it
right,
separate.
okay.
So
Wanted to make
all in
sure,
favor?
sorry.
Aye.
No.
Okay. So 2-1 in favor. Okay. Thanks for coming. Okay. Now, arts coordinator position at grade 9.
Yes. So, little brief history on this position is it initially started as a part-time grant-funded position. Over time, it has been partially funded through the city and partially funded through an Adams grant. In this current fiscal year, $25,000 from the city will be going towards this position. We are waiting right now to hear on the Adams grant. We don't know whether we're funded yet for this upcoming year or not, so we're waiting a response, and we probably won't hear until October until we know whether we're funded or not. This position at this time currently works 35, or is paid for 35 hours a week. She probably works at least 60, so I'd like to recount your comments about staff not putting in volunteer time. She already receives health benefits. She's already in the state retirement system. So it just seems odd that she's kind of in this nowhere land where one foot is kind of a permanent position, but it's still considered temporary and not a paid plan position. So our request is that it's considered to be a part of the paid plan system so that she can receive all of the benefits as all of the other city employees do. Our hope is in the future that we can fund this position fully out of the city. The grant that we currently apply for, we have been told by the MCC, the Mass Cultural Council, that they do not intend to sustain us forever, that they really are to help give us some feet into the door in terms of getting arts and culture into a community, but once we are a little bit more self-sustaining, they don't look to fund you anymore.
Okay.
And so that is really their hope. So there will be a point in the future, and it's probably not too far away, that we will not be receiving grant funding anymore. If we don't receive grant funding this upcoming year, we're going to have to go into our donation accounts that the ECA Plus currently has. It's the revenue that they receive through the Bear Fest.
Mm-hmm.
It will sustain the coordinator's position for 1 year, and that's about it.
Okay.
So the request is really to she's 35 hours a week. She's receiving benefits. She's in the state retirement system. The request is just to make her a paid plan as well, on top of those other benefits.
What's the total cost of the town?
Right now, $25,000
With benefits figured in?
with benefits.
Because benefits
Well,
usually run about
benefits would be
35%, right? 25 to 30%?
She's only got a single,
She's a single. She's not family.
right, so that's,
Probably $100.
I remember it off the top of my head. I can look it up real quick, but it's
It's pretty small.
It's minimal.
yeah, it's not like a family plan.
Right.
He's 25%. Step one? Grade 9, step 1, what step?
I'd have to go back and look at Race's memo. I don't have it with
It's
me.
in 4.
Step
3, I want to say, but I'm not sure.
I do know that she was fit into that grading step based on the salary that she's already
She's
receiving.
currently at.
Pardon?
Oh yeah, you hear me. You hear me after.
Let's see,
I'm
position.
voting no on everything. We're looking for good leadership in this town. I think what we do need, well, let me get this up.
Is not eligible.
We need
for
a time
possible-
study man in this town.
A what?
A time study man, an industrial engineer that studies the time and the work that the employees do to see what exactly is needed all the way through, even through the school department. That's what I think.
If you're
what it
accusing me
needs.
of not working, I'm going to have to take you up on that.
It's time. It's time.
I mean, that would probably cost a lot
I
of
don't want
money
us
though,
to end up
Don.
like Northampton.
And maybe you can just talk a little bit about the different projects that the arts
Sure.
coordinator has brought. And again, when I look at the Bear Fest and some of the other
Sure.
things, clearly a lot of the New England towns are benefiting from.
So she's the coordinator that oversees the ECA coordinating committee. There's 19 people on that volunteer committee. Of that committee, it also breaks down into various subcommittees. We have a subcommittee that works on Art Walk. We have one that works on specific festivals, fundraising, Light Up the Arts Party. She does all the social media, all of the marketing. She books all of the events. She coordinates with all of the artists in town, coordinates with the businesses. It's to some extent, it is a bit of an economic development position. She's cultivating that creative economy for Easthampton. That's putting us on the map. That's getting us attention statewide. This position is extremely important to the city. And if it was ever to go, then that coordination of that cultural economy that we have going on right now would be hard to maintain with a pure volunteers board that work full-time. She is able to dedicate her full-time to making sure their arts are noticed in the city.
And does that include like the One Cottage Street when they have the open studios and things like that?
They
Is that
organize their own studio, but she ties it into other events that are happening and will co-market with them. So she knows all of the artists in town. She knows what's happening, and we try to cross-market events so that we get more people into the city.
And so you said that the grant funding is not known for next fiscal year?
We won't know until October. We just submitted the grant
Okay.
about a month and a half ago.
And so if, when we do put this in, we would be putting this in at 25,000, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that has already been allocated
Yes.
by the city?
Yes, for this fiscal year.
And so whatever she gets from the grant is supplemental?
Would supplement the rest of her salary, correct?
Okay.
She makes $37,000 right now. So the grant would cover that as well as cover programming. We have a long list of events that we're hoping to do over the next 2 years with the grant fund. The grant also pays for things like her rent at Old Town Hall, phone, computer, all of that stuff that the city doesn't cover. That's all covered under the grant. All those overhead expenses are not covered by the city. The city right now is only covering her salary, and that is it. Last year, it covered $16,000 of her salary, and $4,000 was to be used for direct costs, such as rent and all of that stuff. But
okay.
we've switched it so it's purely salary.
Just salary, and,
Just
the, and the
salary.
grant is supplemental.
And the grant supplements all the overhead costs.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I sometimes have a hard
Sure,
time
yeah.
doing the minutes and this. So the city's currently funding her at 25,000, but she makes 37, so the grant's funding 12,000 plus the rent, the phones and stuff.
And programming, so what it costs to put on a festival on Cottage Street. You know, we're planning to do more murals, street murals, building murals, all of the money that we need to pay the artist as a commission to do that work comes out of that grant. Bike racks we're looking to do again this year. That would be paid out of the grant. That doesn't come out of the city. So our hope is that in the future, we can just be going to grants for the programming only.
Right.
And that we don't have to worry about the grant funding her salary and losing that position in the city, or having to reduce it, which would be impossible.
But by funding her salary, we'd probably be more apt to receive the grants in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It shows a commitment on the city side that we're committed to making this position work.
Yep.
And that this is an important part of our small economy here, so.
I think Melissa might have gone to check on that. But I just want to ask Melissa a question. And because I know that one of the things that's going to get asked is next year if they don't get the grant. Or do you foresee that they'll be coming back to try to change the pay plan position to try to absorb all of the salary?
Well, our hope is at some point we will be coming to the city for the full salary.
For the full salary.
That's our hope. We may ask for the full, I don't know, it's going to sort of depend on response for our future mayor leadership, but our thought was that within 2 years, we'd like to see this position fully funded at the 37. If we could get it within 1 year, that'd be even better, but we know that money is tight and we're trying to be respectful of that, so.
I just want to say, I believe the town has more pressing needs than taking on more employees at this time. And we don't pay into the unemployment trust fund, so when they get laid off, we gotta pay the whole thing when they get laid off. If we try to lay off an employee, sometimes we just shoot ourselves in the foot. You have to remember that. Go ahead, Melissa.
First of all, we do budget to put money in our own unemployment fund every year to anticipate what our unemployment costs would be. And should we lay any of these people off, the grant doesn't pay for unemployment, we pay for unemployment.
Right.
And seeing that a lot of these positions are split funded, it costs us probably about the same.
Right.
Still voting no.
I know. But I'm trying to explain the cash, there's a liability when you hire
Very good valid points you make, Melissa. I'm not arguing your point, but I'm just saying, the thing of it is, I just hope everybody here driving home tonight don't drive into a pothole, okay? There's our pressing need right now. For the taxpayer, the roads are important. They have to travel out of town for their jobs. Oh, we talk about revitalizing Union Street. Take a look at the road conditions on Union Street. It looks like, can't say that word here,
Yeah, but I
I'm just
can
gonna
get
tell you what
grants
it
to
looks
help
like.
fix that. So I need staff in order to be able to write the
And
grants.
here's another argument against you. You're talking about, I can't get you any money for zoning. we're spending money on this position, where we should be saving it to redo the zoning and we get the town going, we'll have more money in the budget.
I mean, so I say I don't look at it as compartmentalized as that. I feel like if we have a thriving community, then people are going to come here, they're going to spend money, and people are going to invest in Easthampton, which is going to allow us to grow in a way that's going to give us the ability to fix our roads. I mean, it's not compartmentalized. Everything's connected, and if we have a thriving community, and right now, whether you want to admit it or not, we have a pretty thriving art community in Easthampton, and that's great. And it's good for our city, and it's gonna help our roads. People are gonna want to move here and fix up
How much
houses.
revenue are they bringing into the town?
I think that's not necessarily, and that's an
That's
irrelevant
necessarily
question
true.
because
There's been a
it's not quantifiable.
There have been a 20 to 30% growth in the number of jobs and establishments in the arts, restaurants, and other art-related sectors in the city's economy in the past decade. We've had an 8% growth in the number of residents who hold jobs in the arts since 2008. Bearfest raised over $100,000 in funds that went directly back to artists and the schools.
Yeah, true.
Yes, it is true.
Yeah, and so
So don't tell me that the arts aren't bringing in money.
No, but the thing of it is, like, you take 1 Carter Street, they always made money over there because a lot of those artists always sold and they had products and they contracted work out. So I always do that. And there's other ones that are like that, but I don't know if they're bringing direct money into this town.
I mean, even with the Bear Fest, I mean, I used to sit up here on the corner and just watch the people walking around, and people I've never seen before walking around in Easthampton, and they're visiting all the local establishments and walking into the Brass Cat and other places in Mount Tom and getting ice cream.
and realizing
Mount Tom's highest revenue days were during Bearfest. When
And
every
also-
other ice cream shop in the region was suffering for bad weather, he had a higher revenue. It's the best grossing day he's ever had historically.
and I keep running into people that are, and you know, I work in Northampton, and I keep running into people that are like, you know what, we're looking at houses in Easthampton because Easthampton's up and coming is what they say. Easthampton's up and coming. Northampton's getting too expensive. And there's still some houses to be had here, and people are buying houses because we're a good community, because people see us as thriving, and that's part of that is our emerging art scene, which is good.
And not going to build more houses last year in Southampton than they did in this time.
Yeah, but that's Southampton has much
That's the
more
same
open space
thing.
than
I
we
mean,
do.
the thing is, the property value-
It's apples and oranges.
If you're a young person, you go to Southampton, you don't come to Easthampton.
That's not true. Southampton has higher taxes than us, and they're less accessible than us. Yeah, I live in Easthampton. I can jump on my bike path. I can ride to Amherst if I want to, and I don't have to spend 1 dime on gas.
Or take PBTA.
Or take public transportation.
In
And
town center, I mean, the
$1
access
million
again to these
wasted
arts
on that last
activities.
section of bike path. I seen one person crossing a bridge on O'Neill Street, and I seen 2 down on Northampton Street crossing. That's all I ever seen, and I'm back and forth a lot on it.
I ride it like 3 times a week at least to commute to work. So I mean, I guess you don't see me.
I've been on there with my family, and it's
My kids.
actively used.
Yeah, it's not disconnected. Everything in our community is connected, and the more that we can realize that, the more successful we're all going to be. Like, I agree, our roads need to get fixed. I agree that there's priorities out there that might be initially looking more pressing than this, but I can get behind this because I feel like this is a good direction.
Call it, vote your way, I'm voting my way. I don't know hard feelings
I'll do
today
that.
anyhow.
Okay, you want to?
Second.
Okay, so all in favor to move this forward to the full council? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, 2 to 1. Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think, what else do we have on our, I don't have a copy of our agenda. Do you guys have a copy?
That's it.
No?
Was this the only thing that was on our
Review
agenda?
of special permitting process. Do you want
Oh.
me to stay for
Special
that as
permit
well?
review.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll
You
just,
send a letter out? You
I
send
think-
the planning board down?
yeah, so
Okay.
It was
the,
received by the planning board, so I have alerted them, and they'll get it on a future agenda here
cool, just,
shortly.
Do we have to have a joint meeting?
we do have to have a joint meeting. I don't know if the clock has started yet. Has the clock?
But did you have specific did you have
Yes.
specific changes?
Yes.
They were bulleted in the memo.
Yes.
So those are your specific
Those are the
changes that-
specific changes.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't spell them out as specifically as I can when we sit down with them.
But when I looked at, I have to admit, I haven't read it in too much detail yet, your memo, but my
I'm not sure
understanding.
there's enough information
Yeah, it
in
was-
that memo unless you had the actual request to begin with.
The request to begin with. Do you have
I have the Cobb's,
just, yeah.
and actually, and it was
It was
Justice Gibbons'
it was this
memo.
letter
Yes.
to Ann.
Yes. So some of the recommended changes are actually not having to do with the special permit.
That were in there.
They were having to do with other
things.
inconsistencies.
Right. So we just took what was in here and tried to address what we could fix.
And honestly, they were the same inconsistencies that I've identified myself, so
Right.
there's
So now we can get them changed.
Sure.
Fix them up.
a lot more in addition to that list.
Is there really? Okay, send
there's
them on.
tons. There's tons, but again, this is what I'd rather have my preference would be to have
A full
complete
comprehensive
zoning overhaul to fix the inconsistencies, to look at streamlining the permitting process,
Yes.
to be looking at the special permit and the site plan review processes,
Yeah.
to fix the definition section, to make it more readable, to even talk about what we talked about in the highway business, where we have a specific section of the zoning that talks only about
Certain areas.
downtown business.
And then if someone pulls a permit, you give them like a little cheat sheet.
So,
I think
Right.
that's
you just go where you are and you go right to that section.
Yeah.
and
So
you
there's,
know
So
exactly
there's
where
some
there's
you're
stuff.
much
at.
bigger stuff that needs to
If
happen
you-
in addition to that. But
If you do find some other glaring ones,
like minor ones.
I mean, if whatever you find and you want to send them, just
Okay.
send them. We'll
Okay.
try to fix them as we
All
go.
right.
I mean, we'll do it if we have to do a piecemeal for now. We'll do a piecemeal. But
Okay.
you know, if there's ones that I would say maybe the more egregious one is first, and
There's
then
like a
we'll.
height one, and yeah, okay.
So those ones would be good to get
Okay.
done.
All right, I'll look at it.
All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Are
that.
you gonna do your stop sign tonight, or is that?
No.
The police
because-
chief look into that?
Yeah, so I'll tell you. I mean, that's not on our. That went to public safety.
Okay.
But basically what it was is he looked at it because they were looking to try to, the neighbors were concerned about speeding because people were cutting through. And he said, listen, people aren't speeding there. It seems like they're speeding. The speed limit's 35, so they're going, 40 miles an hour. They're not speeding. But, what I'm going to do is I've sent an email to Chuck McCullough from Williston, and it said, listen, this is going to affect your students more than it affects anybody else. I want you guys to pay for the stop sign.
Years ago, they used to cut through to Phillips, come across Galbraith Field up through Phillips.
Yep.
They jumped on the cars in the parking lot one day. Okay, the kids walking,
Yeah.
and they called the old guys, all farts. They can't do nothing. They got wiped out. They had to go all the way around. They had to walk for a long time.
Oh, really? Oh, jeez.
Old Charlie Lundy went out there. He wiped about 6 of them down like nothing.
Oh, my
Okay, what else
goodness.
we got?
I don't think we have anything else.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. That's the best thing I can do, or I vote aye.
All right. Second. All in favor? All
No, I
right.
see more, the whole
Goodbye,
trouble is, I see
Easthampton.
more pressing needs in